Hello, and welcome to Managing Content, .NET Framework, .NET Core, and Azure DevOps. We're going to focus on Sitefinity Digital Experience Platform, DXP. My name is Jonathan Reed, Solutions Engineer with Progress Sitefinity. Progress Sitefinity Cloud allows IT teams to implement secure and connected experiences, while business users can easily manage engaging, personalized content, optimized across sites and channels. Our new standalone presentation engine built on .NET Core will significantly shift how developers support content management needs. We'll cover how you can leverage modern Microsoft Azure DevOps services, workflows, MVC, Bootstrap 4, Kendo UI, and more to deliver unrivaled digital experiences with ease. Develop, run, and manage powerful digital experiences without the complexity of building and maintaining infrastructure with Sitefinity DXP or Sitefinity Cloud. So we first want to start out with how you can extend this particular digital experience platform. There are numerous amounts of ways that we can do so. Sitefinity DXP is a framework. Let's talk about some major extensibility points. Sitefinity allows you to build content management solutions or digital experiences with technology that a lot of you may already be familiar with or know. And if you don't know them, there's a mass amount of resources available in the world. Sitefinity runs on .NET Framework and utilizes MVC Razor Views as its core drag-and-drop page building experience and widget development. Sitefinity ships out of the box with APIs to help extend, share, and or build custom content-driven applications. Sitefinity is a framework. As of Sitefinity 13 and moving forward, you can now build front-end rendering with many types of technologies like .NET Core and its Vue components. We're a Microsoft Gold partner and follows Microsoft best practices as we develop Sitefinity application. This means that you as developers also would be following these same best practices and get to reuse information and technology that you may or may not already know. And then lastly, deployment. Sitefinity is easily deployed to your favorite model, whether that's using an Azure App Service with a database or a virtual machine. It's completely up to you. Sitefinity is a .NET web application. But wait, that's not all. Sitefinity uses Azure DevOps, continuous integration and deployment, or CI/CD. Git repositories brings this all together utilizing Azure and Azure DevOps. So let's focus on that a little bit more. Here's a general overview of our Sitefinity Cloud model. There are three main cloud models that we like to compare to: infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service. The main difference between the three models is that the responsibility of the customer and what's the responsibility of the vendor is really the difference, again, between those two platforms. I'll elaborate a little bit more about the difference between platform as a service and software as a service. In the platform as a service model, the customer is responsible for the application, its data, and its configurations. In other words, in a platform as a service model, the customer can get an application, extend it, and then deploy it to the platform. As opposed to that, the software as a service model, the customer can only configure an already deployed application with no option to extend. Sitefinity itself is a platform that can be extended to meet broad range of requirements. Based on that, we have chosen the platform as a service model for Sitefinity Cloud. So let's dive in a little bit about the architecture that we decided on to deliver this cloud model to you. All the subscriptions that we leverage to provision Sitefinity Cloud accounts are owned and managed by Progress. To ensure the uptime of your website, we need to have full control. The subscription consists of an infrastructure and management portal. The infrastructure also consists of a production and staging environment. The management portal is also built on top of Azure DevOps and is the place where you can have complete visibility over the whole process, from development to deployment to production. In the management portal, we have pre-built for several dashboards. These dashboards include visualization information to the underlying infrastructure, such as uptime, CPU utilization, available memory, and so on, as well as information regarding the continuous integration and continuous delivery processes. These processes could also be managed throughout this portal. As part of Sitefinity Cloud, we provide a Git source as well as the continuous integration and continuous deployment. Let's look a little bit deeper into the CI/CD pattern. So we'll begin our development on a local environment over here on the left-hand side. In this local environment, you'll make your code changes and at some point, check them into the master branch. Once they're checked in and pushed up to the repository, the continuous integration portion begins. Assuming it passes all the tests and capabilities there, it'll then go into the continuous deployment or delivery, where it'll then deploy to the first environment that comes out of the box with Sitefinity Cloud, and it's called staging. This is the area where you'll be testing your new features or changes that you've made into the application itself. With a simple click of a button and a managed workflow, you can easily promote content and code to production. Once that code is in production, there's always a need to get a database back down to lower level environments. We supply push button clicks in order to facilitate exactly that. So you can take the production database and deploy it backwards down to development easily by a click of a button. Also during this process, we'll even obfuscate the data to protect you from personal identifiable information, PII. So now that you have a general idea about how we utilize Microsoft Azure and Sitefinity Cloud, we're going to give you a quick demonstration about what a business team might be involved with as you deliver a Sitefinity application for you. So in this next portion, we're going to go over a content creation demo. During this demo, we're going to create a page. We're going to add a number of components onto the page. Also during that process, we will add a form. And then followed by that, we will use what we call the central repository of content to create, in this case, some news content and have it show up everywhere within the system. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the demonstration. We're going to log first into Sitefinity. We're going to log in using the Azure supplied security. We'll go ahead and create a page, give it a nice title. Select a page template. From here, we get to begin building the page. We're going to use a card widget to present a banner graphic, if you will. So we'll select an image along with it. I think that one looks nice. And then lastly, we're going to change the template to be something that we've designed, looking great. We're going to split this page into a couple different columns. We ship with Bootstrap 4, so these will be mobile and responsive, as we'll show you in just a moment. You can filter content, configure each widget as such. This is a dynamic widget, as we call it. We're going to send it to a news page that's already configured as the user clicks for the details. Let's get our rich text editor or WYSIWYG editor. We can, of course, type content as we go, but for the most part, we see a lot of copy and pasting or utilizing applications like Microsoft Word to get content into your content management system or digital experience platform. So we've copied and pasted the content, looks good, but maybe we want to supply an image along with it to help promote the look and feel of the site. And lastly, let's get a form at the bottom of the page. We want to collect information whenever possible. We went ahead and did a preview of this particular page. We can also preview it in mobile and responsive. So here we're going to preview an iPhone 5, a Pixel, an iPad Air. Everything is looking great so far. We've got a dynamic widget on the page, a static widget. We can schedule publishing, but let's go ahead and just publish the page for now. We'll go ahead and head back to the live site. It automatically shows up in our navigation. And now we can move on to the dynamic nature of Sitefinity, where we can go into the news content and start to begin to create bucketed content, if you will, like news. Sitefinity gives you the full control over all of this. Same WYSIWYG editor you saw before. Whoops, as we try to save it for draft, looks like our validation said those fields are too long. Let's grab a summary, give it some categorization, some tagging. Again, we can schedule content to be published, or in this case, we're going to grab an image first. And let's go ahead and check out our scheduling options, and then we'll go ahead and publish the content. Now, based on that dynamic nature of the widget, we can easily see our content is now created. This is really to show off what your marketing and business teams will be involved with as they build out Sitefinity applications. Let's look at the architecture, the underlying architecture of the Sitefinity web application. By nature, it is a decoupled architecture, or by design, if you will. We supply a native API which supplies the default Sitefinity renderer, which is what we just walked through just now. From here, though, we want to introduce another model, which is the tiered architecture, APIs, presentation, and .NET Core. In this particular model, we're going to have content REST APIs, which will interact with our .NET Core renderer. We have page metadata APIs as well, which again will interact with the .NET Core renderer, as you can see here down at the bottom. What are the benefits of tiered architecture? Faster development, easier upgrades, complete isolation between websites and administration, separate front-end scalability. So if you'd like to deploy that .NET Core renderer on Linux distributions or other outside of Windows applications, you absolutely can. Also allows for extensibility for other rendering engines, maybe Vue, Angular, the list goes on, and other IDEs. So with the advent of .NET Core, we can easily use things like Visual Studio Code, Sublime Text, or of similar. Let's see how easily we can create a new .NET Core widget utilizing Sitefinity APIs. So in this next demonstration here, we're going to look at the .NET Core widget creation. In this next demonstration, we're going to show you the .NET Core renderer application where we have a custom widget to display some news content. So let's go ahead and give this a look. We have some configurations of the Sitefinity environment. You can notice here we have our data view component. This is a nice entry area to start to build out, again, our view components following the .NET Core pattern. We've created a custom request context that we'll utilize to get news data, as you can see down below. We'll also use some of the information from those constants and configuration, again, making Sitefinity building very easy. Just again, showing off the configuration here and showing the injection of that particular message or model. In this particular case, we're calling to the news items and getting the latest news items, ensuring that the status code is okay, and then displaying back a list of items. Here's the news model, very simple, and the view. Again, we're using view components of .NET Core. We'll go ahead and run the application. We'll go ahead and add our new widget onto the page, just as simple as that. Publish the page. You can now see in preview mode we have it there. And just like that bucketed content we showed you earlier, we can easily create a new news article and have it displayed immediately onto the page. Again, a very fast, quick way to develop front-end rendering engines for Sitefinity. So now that you've had an introduction into the basics of Sitefinity Cloud and the .NET Core rendering engine, let's take a look at what our customers are saying. Goodbody. Goodbody wanted to create engaging, customer-centric digital experiences. However, its current technology, before moving to Sitefinity, Stack made it difficult or cumbersome to do so. The solution was the platform as a service. Sitefinity Cloud minimized the amount of time IT had to spend on the website infrastructure, and with an intuitive UI, Sitefinity enabled Goodbody's marketing team to be more agile. The result was an improved customer engagement with tailored experience and empowered Goodbody's broader digital efforts. And again, the idea here is it's very easy to use, very intuitive platform, drag and drop experience for both .NET Core renderers and the out-of-the-box web renderers as well. Rookie's challenge, languishing sales, leads, and vanishing site speed, together with GDPR, made a new brand, meant it was time to refresh their website. The solution was, well, they were already on Sitefinity, but needed an updated information architecture, but retain integrations, data, content using the Sitefinity module builder. After moving from Sitecore and EpiServer to Progress Sitefinity, they moved 30 sites from web forms models to the MVC model in 3 months. The site speed improvements led to a 50% increase in leads and a 70% increase in content requests. There was also a 700% increase in site speed scores on Google, and again, a 70% increase in site content leads. Sitefinity is really preferred by customers. Parker Sitefinity helps a variety of customers deliver seamless digital experiences. We're named as an industry leader by G2 Crowd, named Gartner's Customer Choice for both 2018 and 2019. Parker Sitefinity is named a challenger in the 2021 AMITA Universe for Digital Experience Management Solutions. AMITA finds Progress a challenger because of its broad range of tools developing experiences, thanks to the company's long history as application development vendor. Our strengths include analytics, cloud, developer technologies, and integrations. We rank higher than several key players in the market, including Episerver and Crown Peak, and we place in the same category as Acquia and Sitecore. Across the bottom, have a nice logo salad for you, some of our great customers that are utilizing Sitefinity. Again, preferred by customers, just to show where we rank, we're circled here in green. And again, as a leader in the DXP Fall Grid and the mid-market DXP Fall Grid, also a leader. So in the end, what does this all really mean? Sitefinity is industry agnostic. Whether you're hosting an internal portal or building a B2B product ordering system, Sitefinity has the backbone to allow you for diverse and complicated builds. Marketing and business users love Sitefinity, again referencing that G2 crowdsource. As the digital assets become more and more common, as IT members, we need non-technical users to be able to manage this type of information. Sitefinity is easy to use for all skill levels. Fast time to market. So we outlined, a couple customer examples here using the .NET Core framework or Sitefinity.NET MVC. Also shipping out of the box with Bootstrap and other out-of-the-box components. Sitefinities, you can easily, swiftly get a site up and running, whether it's headless or you're building a portal or, again, B2B, B2C, any type of application you may need. It's very deployable. We outlined a couple different models today. We talked about the Sitefinity Cloud model, which has a lot of built-in tools, including continuous integration and continuous deployment. But that's not all we offer. Sitefinity at its core is really a deployable web application. So you can deploy it to AWS or really your favorite hosting provider, including on your own. You really need IIS and a Microsoft SQL database. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time today, and everybody have a great day.